Sometime after the dedication of the wall, Nehemiah returned to Persia. Arriving again in Jerusalem, he found the walls intact, but the spiritual health of its inhabitants in ruin. Evidence of their compromised faith was everywhere. Tobiah the Ammonite, with the help of the Jewish allies, had taken up residence in one of the temple's storerooms. The Levites and musicians had returned to their fields because the people had not honored the pledge to support them. The Sabbath had been utterly defiled, in spite of the people's agreement to keep it holy. Instead of a day of rest dedicated to God, work and commerce continued as if it were any other day. The people's compromise had driven them further from God, which angered Nehemiah. Over 400 years later, Jesus, too, was angry at the spiritual corruption of God's people. The most vivid displays of his anger are Jesus' cleansing of the temple, apparently once at the beginning of his ministry and once at the end of his ministry. The temple was meant to be a place of prayer. Instead, God's house had become a place where the poor were defrauded as merchants sold animals for sacrifice and money changers charged a fee for converting currency. Jesus' response to their corruption and compromise is much like Nehemiah's in that it is not limited to words of admonition. Jesus flipped over the tables of the money changers and drove them and the merchants out of the temple.